Trekkies and Dreggers got actual new stuff. In fact, it didn't even come out that long ago. This time, it's from this year. It's not 1989. No, it's 2023 items that I am bringing you. So, if you haven't watched my previous videos about the ReAction Super7 figures, let me sum it up for you real quick. I do like them, but they aren't as good of a sculpt quality as the price that they ask for, in my opinion. Plus, they're not really the figures that they had done previously up till this point, for the most part, was just repeating everything that's been done. They did the original series crew, which I'm working on trying to actually get. I don't have those. I got Wave 1 and Wave 2 of Next Generation. Which I do. I've got them on a display across from my desk over here. And I like them. The Borg figure was quite good. Armus was something new that they actually brought to it, which I like him. But the rest, the Q is cute, but I have other Qs. Many other, pointing the wrong way. I literally have, let's see if I can get my fingers to point at them on camera. Okay, that one's there. Bring that one, and that one's there. And then I have another Q sitting directly over there, all wearing the judge's robes. So I was like, Super7, you're not really bringing anything too terribly new to the table. So why should people be interested and excited and trying to collect your line? Which, like I said, Armus, definitely a step in the right direction. Well, to me, this wave, they finally stepped it up. They said, we're bringing you something new, and it's good. They did Data, Geordi, Picard, and Worf in the Sherlock Holmes style holodeck uniforms. Which, here's the thing, Playmates never touched these. Well, that's not entirely true. The 9-inch figures that Playmates did, they did do Data and Geordi in those costumes. I'd love to get the hold of those. Those are really great figures. But otherwise, never touched. Nobody has ever done any of these. They've never even really made any kind of sculpts or options, which, you know, and that was one of the things. Playmates did a lot of holodeck characters, holodeck stuff. You know, they did the Worf and Troy and Alexander and the Data in the Old West outfits. They did Data and Picard and Dr. Crusher and Guinan in the Dixon Hill 1930s outfits. And to me, it seemed like logically this should have been on the table. Like, I realized that especially back in the 80s, it was in the 80s and 90s that there was a lot of problems with the estate of I'm going blank on the writer of Sherlock Holmes right this second. I know his name and I cannot remember it. But anyways, I know that there has been problems with his estate many times, like the Robert Downey Jr. movies had problems. That's the reason that they never got around to making a third one, was because the estate of Conan Doyle, that's it, Arthur Conan Doyle. kept suing them and trying to get money and being ridiculous. And they actually sued Paramount over this because they felt that it infringed on copyright, and that's part of the reason that there was such a long wait between the episodes where they had Moriarty in them. Which that is the only thing about this line. Like, I know a lot of people who have made Dr. Pulaski in the outfit from this episode, and I can't remember, Countess what's her nuts from the later Moriarty episode, and they also have made Moriarty, which a lot of them, they've been getting the Picard figure here, doing a head swap for a figure with hair that looks relatively like Daniel. Oh, I can't remember the actor's name. Daniel Lewis is what I'm thinking, but I think that's wrong. Oh well, somebody will probably correct me. I don't care. I know how to use Google. I could do it right now if I wanted to, but I don't care. It's fine. I kind of wish that they had done a Moriarty. It would have. I know it would have made an odd number, and they try to do even numbered lines. It's usually 6, which why not do the Pulaski then? That is a slight complaint, but I am thrilled with these. I literally do only have one complaint, and it has to do with the Worf figure. So let's take a look at the packages just real quick, because these are great packaging. Got that foil thing going on there. Got Data dressed as Sherlock Holmes, and you see he comes with a pipe. We'll flip over to the back and you can see everybody there. If you want to pause and read that, you can. And then we got Geordi dressed as Dr. Watson, and you see he comes with a little notebook, because that's what the whole premise of the whole Sherlock story was that Dr. Watson started writing down his adventures with Sherlock, and that's how the books supposedly came to be. And then we've got Captain Picard in his fancy tuxedo. I've always felt he was incredibly overdressed for this scene, and it's great. With his top hat, and the top hat is apparently a part of the figure. I've not opened any of these yet, and he comes with a cane, which he did actually have one in the episode that he walked around with for the few minutes that he was on the holodeck. And then there's Worf, and Worf comes with nothing. And this actually kind of annoys me, because as silly as it is, no, we never saw him with a stick or a phaser or anything. But what we did see him with, for just the few, of course, this is one of the great things about this is a figure based off of something that we only saw on screen for probably 60 seconds, if that much, probably more like 45. But the best part about that few seconds that Worf is dressed up like this and waiting outside the holodeck is that he's got a top hat that he's just holding. And he's got this look like he is terrified to put this on his head, because you know he can't actually wear it, which this is one of the things I've always wanted to ask Michael Dorn about. Of course, now the fact that that's 30 something years ago, because the top hat is obviously like the same size top hat that Patrick Stewart is wearing. It's a normal person's head, and Worf's, the ridges that he had, the makeup makes his head several inches larger. Literally, the only time that we ever see Worf with something on his head is well, there's the cowboy episode, but the thing of it is that they hide. They really do a good job hiding that they're working around the makeup whenever they put a hat on Worf's head, and I don't think they were prepared to put the hat on Worf if they had to, because it looks like it will not fit. And it's just a great few moments in that episode where he's fiddling with that top hat in the hall, and I love it. But anyways, so these are the figures. I am going to take a minute to get them out because, like I told you, I don't like to open stuff on the camera. Real quick explanation is just, it bothers me to hear all of the noise associated with the opening of packaging on videos when I watch them, so I don't want to put other people through that if they have a similar thing. So I am just going to pause this real quick. Gonna break that fourth wall, like I never done that before. The fuck? I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And I've got them out of the package, obviously. So, we have, first of all, applause. They can hold their accessories. I mean, obviously, I figured a stick, anybody can hold that. But Data can actually hold his pipe in a fashion that Sherlock Holmes would have held it. You know, sticking it out and using it to gesture. You know, the thing here. So happy with that. This is, of course, you know, new figure. The limbs or the joints are all sticky. Does appear that the hats are molded. Yeah, those hats are definitely molded to the head. You're not going to be popping that off, which is totally fine. That's, especially at this scale, kind of preferable. And the details are actually pretty nice, too. Just looking at the book and everything, I really, these are really nice. I mean, then he's got the gold chain for his watch. This head sculpt on this one, it's funny. The previous one, where it's the Geordie in his uniform, it looked like a very different, unique head sculpt. Whereas this one actually reminds me of the Galoob head sculpt a little bit, obviously from the eyes down. Because again, yeah, that's molded. It's weird. It almost looks like it has a separation line, but it I'm pretty sure that's not coming off anytime soon. Now this one does not. The Picard does not look like it's got a separation line, which is weird. That's kind of strange. But it would be cool if he could hold his cane a little more downward, but the fact that he can still hold it this way is appropriately nice. I like the way I didn't point this out on the other figures on the Data. In the back, the way that they actually have the sculpting of their butt, the way that the jacket comes down around their rear, actually makes it look more like a proper coat, and then it has the split of the jacket in the back, like a jacket like that should, so that you can move your legs properly. Of course, I can't help but think that Picard looks a little like a funeral director. And then you've got Worf wearing gloves, which makes him even more look like a funeral assistant. I've always wondered why Worf was wearing gloves and Picard. I don't think Picard had gloves. Maybe he had gloves. I don't know. But Worf needs his hat. Oh, he needs a hat. I may have to fix something to that effect, so he can be standing there holding a hat. But these are so good. These really are. They're something different. I mean, and it helps even more so that I am actually a fan of not a huge fan, but I do like the Sherlock Holmes books. I've actually got a couple of them over there with my other on the shelf up at the top. You're not going to be able to see them, obviously. But so I did promise, if you noticed in the caption, a bonus figure. If you know my journey with the ReAction figures, and I mentioned it earlier, I have been working on getting the original series figures, and I've got Spock, I've got Uhura, and now I have Dr. McCoy. So I've now got 3 of the... They only made 5, if I recall, because they never... I know they didn't make a checkoff. No, they did make Sulu. They did make 6. That was the thing, was that they never made a checkoff, and so a lot of people have been taking and altering either a Kirk or a Sulu to look like checkoff. But, yeah, got a Dr. McCoy. He's got... this molding of the communicator to their backside is interesting. If you go back and look at Spock, he's got the same thing. And then he does come with the tricorder, which is actually pretty nice. It's molded. It looks like proper tricorder. Can't help but wonder if they borrowed the molds from Playmates. This, of course, the face is just grumpy face. That's my other thing, is especially on the original series wave, from what I've noticed, the sculpts weren't quite as good to look like the actors as much. With the Next Generation figures, they've done a far better job of, for the most part, making them look like the character that they're supposed to be. So, that is the Super 7 ReAction figures of the Next Generation Star Trek Holmes figures. I hope you've enjoyed this. Chance to get a look at them. Go out and get these. If you don't get any of the others, get these, because these are worth it. These are good. And maybe it'll encourage them to do more. Heck, I wouldn't mind having the Western line, Worf and Troy and Data and Address. That's the figure we really need. Is Data, is the multiple Datas. I'm now thinking they should totally do that. Should have Worf and Alexander and Troy. And then if they do 3 versions of Data, have the sort of the black suit version, they should do the Bandito version, and then do the bar matron or whatever she was, the whore. I don't know. And then they could totally do some Dixon Hill later on, and yeah, then they can do Voyager and eventually do Flaughter and Trevis. Yeah, they should do that. We should encourage them to keep going down this line, and then send me stuff just because they're nice. Okay, I'll see you next time.
If you enjoy my videos and want to see more, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Also, you can support the show by signing up on Patreon, or head over to Zazzle to pick up prints of my artwork, prints on canvas, t-shirts, and other merch. You can find me on social media. For more information and updates on the channel, all info is below. If you didn't enjoy the video, Why are you still here? Do you want a song? Ba ba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, them 3 bags full. One for the master who can screw himself. You can listen to somebody else.